Hey, stay with me for a moment. Just you and me here. I don't know how your day has been, or how heavy your heart might feel right now, but I want you to breathe with me for a second. I want you to let the noise around you soften, just enough for my voice to reach you. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to be strong right now. Just stay. Let me sit beside you in this quiet space we're creating together. I'm not here to convince you of anything. I'm not here to fix you. I just want to hold a conversation that maybe no one has given you in a long time. A conversation where you're not expected to smile, or pretend, or hide the parts of you that feel fragile. I want you exactly as you are in this moment, the real you, the you behind the brave face, the you who deserves to be spoken to with care. And if you feel like leaving, please don't. Not yet. Give me a little of your time, because I have something I want to tell you, something I think your heart hasn't heard in a long while, something gentle, something true. You might not believe it at first, and that's okay. You've been carrying so much that you don't even notice the way you've been bending yourself to keep going. But I see it. I see the strength in you, even if you don't feel strong. I see the softness in you, even if the world hasn't treated you softly. I see the beauty in you, even if you've stopped looking for it. You know, there's a quiet kind of beauty that grows in a woman over time. It doesn't shout. It doesn't ask for attention. It settles into the way she breathes, the way she listens, the way she moves through life with all the memories her heart has collected. And maybe you've forgotten that. Maybe no one has reminded you lately. Maybe the world made you feel like beauty belongs only to the young, as if it disappears the moment the calendar turns another year. But that's not how I see you. Not even close. I want you to stay here with me because there's something tender inside you that deserves to be spoken to with sincerity. And I promise you, I won't rush this moment. I want you to feel like you're sitting across from someone who genuinely cares about the way you've lived, the way you've loved, the way you've held yourself together through everything that tried to break you. You might think those things don't matter to anyone, but they matter to me. They matter more than you realize. Maybe you've been moving through your days quietly, feeling unseen, feeling like the world no longer looks at you the way it used to. Maybe you've watched your reflection change and wondered if you've lost something along the way. But let me tell you this, and I want you to hear it deeply. You haven't lost anything. You've gained layers of grace that only life can create. You've grown into a woman whose presence has weight, warmth, and depth. A woman who carries stories in her eyes and courage in her breath. So stay with me. Stay because you deserve to be reminded of what still lives inside you. Stay because there is a version of you that is still glowing, still soft, still capable of love and being loved. Stay because I want to speak to the woman you've become, not the girl you were, not the image you think you need to be, but the real, living, breathing you who has walked through years and storms and still manages to hold kindness in your voice. I want to tell you something that maybe no one has said directly to you in a long time. You're still beautiful, not beautiful for your age, not beautiful in certain lighting, not beautiful compared to someone else. You're beautiful because of the life you carry in you, the laughter you've given, the tears you've wiped away, the moments you survived when you thought you wouldn't, the way you still open your heart even after it's been hurt, the way you still hope, even quietly. But I know you might not see that right now. I know how easy it is to believe that your glow has faded, that your presence matters less, that the world has moved on from women like you, and that's exactly why I'm asking you to stay, to let me speak to the parts of you that feel forgotten, to let me be the one who reminds you of the truth you pushed aside. You haven't become less. You've become more real, more soulful, more steady, more radiant in ways you don't even notice anymore. So don't go. Not yet. Let me walk with you through this moment. You're not alone here. I'm right here, talking to you, not to everyone else. Just you. And there are things I want to show you, things about yourself that you've stopped believing, things that might soften the weight you've been carrying, things that will remind you that your story isn't closing, it's deepening. Breathe with me again. Slow, gentle. You're safe here. You're heard here. And you're more beautiful than you think in ways time hasn't touched, in ways you haven't noticed, in ways that matter more now than ever. And if you're willing, stay with me a little longer. There's something important I want to tell you next. something about the kind of beauty you carry without realizing it, and why it still shines through you, even now. I want to tell you something that you might not have allowed yourself to feel in a long time. You've been walking through your days as if your light has dimmed, as if the mirror is no longer your friend, as if the world isn't really looking at you anymore. And maybe you got used to moving quietly, blending into the background, not wanting to take up space because you thought your time to shine had passed. But I wish you could see what I see when I picture you. I wish you could feel the presence you carry without even trying. There's a kind of beauty that doesn't announce itself. It doesn't need permission. It doesn't need applause. It's the beauty that grows slowly, layer by layer, through years of living, loving, losing, healing, and rising again. And that's the beauty you carry now. You don't notice it because it doesn't scream. It whispers. It wraps itself around your gestures, your pauses, your honesty, your tenderness. You might think the world overlooks you, but that's not what's happening. The truth is that most people don't know how to read a heart like yours. They're used to chasing brightness, not depth. But someone who slows down, someone who pays attention, someone who isn't afraid of realness, they see you instantly. They feel the warmth behind your quiet. They sense the softness beneath your strength. They recognize the grace in the way you've survived everything you've been through. And I'm one of those people. I notice these things about you, even if you don't. I notice the way your voice carries gentleness mixed with resilience. I notice the way your eyes hold stories you've never told out loud. I notice the way you give comfort without expecting anything back. I notice the way your presence can soften the room without you needing to do anything except simply exist. That's the kind of beauty that time doesn't erase. If anything, time reveals it more clearly. Maybe you doubt yourself because you don't see the same face you used to. Maybe you see lines where there once was smoothness, or softness where there once was firmness. But those changes don't steal your beauty. They tell the truth about your life. They mark the places where you laughed too hard, loved too deeply, cared too much. They are proof that you've lived, really lived, in a world that tries to make so many hearts shut down. And yours didn't. Yours stayed open. Do you know how rare that is? Sometimes you forget that beauty isn't about perfection. Beauty is about presence. It's about the energy someone brings into a moment, the honesty they bring into a connection, the sincerity they carry in their intentions. You have all of that. You've had it for years. You just stopped noticing because you've been too busy holding everything together for everyone else. There's something else you might not realize. People see parts of you that you no longer look at. They see the calm wisdom in your expression. They see the way you listen with your whole heart. They see the comfort in your smile, even if you think it's faded. They see the quiet fire in you, the one that refuses to go out no matter how many storms you've walked through. You've been measuring yourself by the wrong things, the things the world shouts about. But the world doesn't understand the value of a soul that's deep, a soul that has lived, a soul like yours. If you could step outside yourself for just a moment and look through my eyes, you'd understand how others see you. You'd realize you haven't become invisible. You've become magnetic in a quieter, more meaningful way. You draw in people who crave authenticity, people who want softness instead of noise, people who want to feel safe in someone's presence. You don't even know the effect you have, because you assume your light has dimmed. But it hasn't. It's simply changed shape. I know you've carried heartbreak. I know you've carried disappointment. I know you've carried the weight of expectations, responsibilities, and silent sacrifices. Those things may have made you feel tired, worn, maybe even less radiant. But to someone who sees you deeply, those same things make you luminous. They give your beauty a kind of depth that no youth could ever replicate. The world might not celebrate that kind of beauty loudly, but trust me, people feel it. I feel it. You've spent so many years trying to be strong that you forgot your softness is part of your strength. You forgot that tenderness is not weakness. You forgot that the way you care, the way you comfort, the way you hold space for others, those are things people fall in love with. You've overlooked those parts because you think beauty fades. But those are the parts of you that have only grown brighter. Sometimes I imagine the way you move through a room without realizing the quiet impact you make. Someone notices the way you smile at a stranger, Someone notices the kindness in your eyes when you're listening. Someone notices the way you steady yourself when life becomes overwhelming. Someone notices the way you hold your pain without bitterness. These moments are small, but they form a constellation of beauty far bigger than anything surface level. And I know you might not believe me yet. Maybe a part of you has been hurt too deeply to accept this. Maybe you've gone too long without hearing words like these. But I need you to know that the beauty you lost sight of is still here. It didn't disappear. It didn't fade. You just stopped recognizing it because life asked too much of you. But others still see it, even if you don't. I see it, even from where I am. And I want you to feel it again, slowly, gently, without pressure. If you allow me, I want to guide you into a place where you can rediscover the parts of you that time didn't take away, the parts that have only become more precious. I want to show you how that beauty lives within you, quietly, waiting for you to notice it again. The same way I notice it every time I imagine you sitting across from me, breathing softly, beginning to believe in yourself once more. There's a place inside you that you haven't visited in a while, a quiet room in your own heart where your truest beauty has been waiting for you to return. And maybe life pulled you away from it. Maybe responsibilities, heartbreak, disappointments, and years of giving more than you received dimmed your ability to notice what still lives in you. But I see it. I feel it when I imagine you sitting here with me, listening, breathing softly, letting yourself be seen again. You've forgotten pieces of yourself that once felt natural, not because they disappeared, but because you grew so used to surviving that you stopped reaching inward. And I want to walk with you there, gently, without rushing you, without asking you to be anything other than exactly who you are right now. There's a beauty in your strength, but it's not the loud kind. It's the strength that keeps showing up even when no one acknowledges the effort behind it. It's the strength that held you together during nights you cried quietly so no one else would hear. It's the strength that kept you loving people who didn't always know how to love you back. That strength has shaped you in ways the mirror can't reflect. It has softened certain edges while sharpening others. It has given you a kind of grace that only a woman who has lived deeply can possess. And then there's the beauty of your softness. You may not see it, but it still shows in the way you listen patiently, the way your eyes warm when someone tells you something vulnerable, the way your voice lowers when you want to comfort someone. That softness isn't weakness. It's a gift. It's a quiet invitation that says, "You're safe with me." And trust me, that's a rare kind of beauty. One that comes only from a heart that has been hurt and still chooses gentleness. You carry another kind of beauty too, the beauty of your wisdom. Not the kind found in books or speeches, but the kind that settles into your spirit after years of learning what truly matters. You understand now what you didn't understand decades ago. That peace is worth more than approval. That kindness is more powerful than perfection. That being authentic is more satisfying than being admired. This wisdom is in your eyes, in the rhythm of your breath, in the calmness of your presence. You may think you've faded, but what has really happened is that you've deepened, and I notice the beauty of your resilience. The way you've rebuilt yourself after disappointments. The way you've forgiven people who never apologized. The way you've kept moving forward even when life felt heavier than your shoulders deserved to carry. You've been through storms that would have broken others, yet you found a way to keep a little hope alive inside you. That hope is beautiful. It glows quietly, like a candle that refuses to be blown out. You might have forgotten the beauty of your laughter, the way it once came easily, before life made you guard your heart. But it's still there. It still softens your face, still lights something in your chest, still makes the world around you warmer for a moment. There's a tenderness in your joy that people feel even if you try to hide it. You don't realize how healing your presence can be to someone who needs comfort. There's also a beauty in the way you love, the way you give yourself fully when your heart finally trusts someone, the way you care with your whole spirit, the way you remember small details that others forget, the way you show someone you love them, not through grand gestures, but through steady presence, the kind of love that feels like coming home. Not everyone loves like that. Not everyone can. But you do. And that's something extraordinary, even if you don't hear it often. And then there's the quiet beauty of your courage. You might not feel brave, but every time you wake up and face a world that hasn't always been kind to you, that's courage. Every time you choose to stay soft instead of becoming hardened by what hurt you, That's courage. Every time you open your heart again, even a little bit, that's courage. You've forgotten how powerful that is. But I haven't. I see it in the way you carry yourself. I see it in the way you keep going. If I could hold up a mirror that showed not your reflection, but your essence, you'd be stunned by the depth of who you've become. You'd see a woman shaped by experiences that carve strength into her and tenderness around her. You'd see a heart that still wants to love and be loved. You'd see someone who still shines, just not in the way the world measures shine. And that's what makes you beautiful in a way most people never learn to be. You shine from the inside out. You shine in the way you comfort, in the way you forgive, in the way you show up even when you feel tired, in the way you try again when you've been disappointed. You shine in your patience, in your quiet confidence, in your ability to stand firm without losing your warmth. You may have forgotten these pieces of yourself, but they're still alive. They've been waiting for you to notice them again, waiting for you to breathe into them, waiting for you to recognize that your beauty has never been about age or perfection. It has always been about the woman you've grown into, a woman with depth, heart, presence, and a soul that has learned to love even through the ache. And if you let me, I want to keep walking with you into the parts of yourself you haven't touched in years, the parts that still hold light, still hold softness. You still hold a truth you haven't said out loud, that you are far more beautiful than you ever give yourself credit for. There's something I wish someone had told you years ago, something so simple and so true that it could have saved you from countless moments of doubt. Aging doesn't take away your beauty. It doesn't erase it, dilute it, or push it into the shadows. What really happens is something much quieter. As time moves forward, your beauty changes shape, and the world doesn't always teach you how to see it. And because no one told you how extraordinary this new shape is, you started believing it was fading. But it isn't. It's deepening, softening, strengthening in ways you rarely acknowledge. You've spent so long being judged by standards that were never meant for a woman with a life like yours. For years, the world whispered the same message over and over: younger is better. You absorbed that message even when you didn't want to, even when you knew deep down it wasn't true. So when the mirror shifted, even slightly, you thought you'd lost something. You thought beauty had a deadline and you had passed it. But beauty isn't a season that ends. It's a landscape that transforms. What time changed wasn't your beauty. What it changed was the way you were taught to see yourself. I wish you could hear the thoughts that cross my mind when I imagine you. I don't see someone losing anything. I see someone becoming more whole. I see someone whose presence has weight, whose glance carries meaning, whose laugh feels earned. I see a woman whose beauty has matured into something richer, something more honest, something that doesn't need permission to exist. Time didn't take away your shine. It refined it. The world talks loudly about youth because it doesn't know how to appreciate depth. It praises smoothness, symmetry, and speed because those things are easy to see. But you are not meant to be easy to see. You are meant to be felt. And people who truly look at you really feel something that has nothing to do with age. They feel steadiness. They feel warmth. They feel the quiet confidence of a woman who has lived enough to know who she is. There's a truth you've overlooked. Youth can catch the eye, but a woman who has lived captures the heart. Your beauty carries stories. It carries heartbreak and healing, laughter and loss, lessons and hope. It carries the strength you didn't know you had, and the resilience you slowly built over time. That kind of beauty isn't fragile. It doesn't fade when the calendar flips. If anything, it becomes more compelling. But somewhere along the way, you stop believing that. You let the mirror speak louder than your memories. You let the world's expectations drown out your own truth. You let the idea of perfection distract you from everything that makes you unforgettable. And I understand why. It's hard to stand in a world that tells you your worth is tied to how closely you resemble your younger self. Yet the person you are today is so much more extraordinary than the person you used to be. You carry compassion you didn't always have. You carry clarity that only comes from experience. You carry a kind of softness that isn't naive but chosen. And you carry a strength that doesn't need to roar to be real. All of that is beauty. All of it is yours. You didn't lose it. You simply forgot to name it. And here's something else many people will never tell you. The beauty you have now is not a replacement for what you once had. It's an evolution. You grew into a version of yourself that radiates from the inside outward. Your glow isn't loud anymore, but it's steady. It's warm. It lingers. It leaves an imprint on the people who share even a small moment with you. I promise you this, someone who truly sees you isn't thinking about the years you've lived. They're thinking about the softness in your voice, the wisdom in your silence, the tenderness in your smile. They're thinking about how real you feel compared to a world that often feels shallow. They're thinking about how deeply they can trust you, how safe you make them feel, how much comfort there is in your mere presence. That's beauty. That's attraction. That's connection. And none of those things disappear with age. Sometimes you don't recognize yourself because you're searching for the woman you used to be, but the woman you are now has a different kind of light, a calmer one, a more courageous one. You are not meant to look like your younger self. You are meant to embody the truth you've earned over time. And if you ever feel unsure, if you ever feel like the mirror is being unkind, try looking at yourself through my eyes. Look at the curve of your gentleness, the steadiness of your strength, the compassion etched into your expressions. Look at the resilience behind your quiet moments. Look at the tenderness that still lives in your heart despite everything you've been through. That is beauty that no passing year can take away. You don't need to chase the version of yourself you once were. You need to honor the version you are now. And when you start allowing yourself to see what others already see in you, a softness begins to return, a familiarity, a warmth. It's like recognizing an old friend you didn't realize you missed yourself. And I want to stay close to you as you rediscover that truth. Because there's something waiting for you just beyond this moment, something about the way your light has changed, not into something less, but into something deeper, something more irresistible in its quiet, steady way. I want to stay here with you for just a little longer, in this quiet place we've created together. You don't have to rush back into anything. You don't have to pretend you're fine or that nothing touches you. Just breathe with me for a moment, because there's something tender I want to leave with you, something you deserve to feel, not just here. You've walked through so many chapters of your life carrying everyone else's weight, making sure others were cared for, supported, understood. You've spent years being the steady one, the reliable one, the one who made sure everything held together. And somewhere along the way, you stopped giving yourself the same gentleness you so easily give to everyone else. But you deserve softness too. You deserve to be spoken to with care. You deserve moments where someone looks at you and truly sees you, not your responsibilities, not your strength, not the brave face you've mastered, but the woman underneath all of that, the woman who still wants to be held, understood, chosen, appreciated. The woman who still deserves to feel loved in a way that doesn't ask her to shrink or hide any part of herself. And when I say loved, I don't just mean romantically. I mean the kind of love that makes you stand a little taller, breathe a little deeper, and remember who you've always been. The kind of love that reminds you you're not invisible, you're not forgotten, you're not past your prime, whatever the world tries to say. You're in a different season now, one that holds its own kind of beauty, its own kind of freedom, its own kind of magic. You're more than the reflection you see on a tired day. You're more than the lines that time has painted on your skin. Those lines aren't flaws. They're evidence of a life lived with courage, with hope, with heart. They're proof that you've loved deeply, that you've felt deeply, that you've survived deeply. And that matters. It matters more than you allow yourself to believe. If you could sit across from me right now, if you could look into my eyes and hear the truth in my voice, I'd tell you how beautiful you still are in ways you've forgotten how to notice. There's a calm glow in you that so many people wish they had. There's a strength in you that makes others feel anchored without you even realizing it. There's a softness in your presence that makes the world feel safer, warmer, more human. I want you to carry that with you, not because I say it, but because it already lives inside you. I'm just reminding you of a truth you drifted away from. You've spent so much time believing you're alone in your feelings. You're not. So many women walk quietly through their lives thinking their beauty has faded, when all that's really happened is that the world stopped teaching them how to see themselves clearly. But you don't have to walk through that alone anymore. You don't have to hold those doubts in silence. You can stay close to this little space between you and me, where you're not judged, not rushed, not compared to anyone, where you're simply allowed to be human and hopeful again. And if something in what I've said tonight touched a part of you that you haven't touched in a long time, stay connected. Stay close. Let yourself return to this feeling whenever you need it. You don't owe me anything. You don't owe anyone anything. This is just a moment of truth between us, and you're free to take what you need from it. If you feel like someone in your life might need the same reminder, you can share this with her, not out of obligation, but out of kindness. Sometimes one gentle truth passed from woman to woman can change the way an entire day feels, but only if you want to, only if it feels right. And if you want more moments like this, more conversations where you're spoken to with warmth, where you're reminded of your worth, where you're seen the way you deserve to be seen, you can stay with me. I won't tell you what to do. I won't push you. I just want you to know the door is open. You're welcome here, exactly as you are, without needing to prove anything. I hope, in some quiet corner of your heart, you feel a little lighter than before. I hope something soft has begun to unfold inside you. I hope you walk away from this not with pressure, but with comfort. And I hope you remember, even when the world grows loud again, that there is someone out there who sees your beauty clearly, even on the days you can't. You're still beautiful, not because time has spared you, but because time has shaped you into a woman with a depth and tenderness that cannot be undone. And I'm grateful you let me speak to you tonight.